Yeah, g'day. So you're thinking of moving out to the country and you're in the city maybe, or you're going to retire or whatever, but say you're looking for work when you get to the country. What's it like finding work in the country? I mean, you got to pay your way somehow. So how do you do that when you're in a rural area? Well, in my case, I was preparing myself to move back to the country because I was in the country when I was a young lad, because my dad was in the military and we travelled around a lot. So I remember this place and I wanted to come back to it. It's sort of been a thing that I always wanted to do. So I retrained myself at one time. I went to university, and the occupation I chose at that stage, I was moving into design, engineering and architectural design. That was when computer-aided design was coming in. I learned on the drawing board, I loved that, but the computer-aided design, it was a bit of a headache, but the advantage of it was that I observed that there were some people, even then in the early days of the introduction of CAD design, who would do their work from home. They'd get their own computer, which was like, you had to be rich then to have a home computer. But, if you were working, you'd buy the computer and then they'd send their work to the office, work under contract normally, on, disk or use a modem and actually send it in by email or something like that, depending on the size of the files, you see. So I saw that starting to happen and I thought, yeah, well, look, I could do that, So I did the training and then I went out and got jobs in offices and got some experience and got my name known. And then I started working on contract, and it turns out I worked for a crowd called Skilled Engineering and a couple of others. I'll just contract out and I work for clients all over the planet, And the thing is, I can work on my own home computer, generally this one here or another workstation. I keep a couple just in case one gets a bug in it or something. And I can I can live anywhere in the world and work for anybody in the world who wants this kind of service. So I plan that ahead of time. Now, if you think about what you're doing, if you work in an occupation where you can work, say, over the internet, then that's something you can do so that you'll know for sure you've got an income when you get to the rural area, But what if you want to start a business or get a job in a country town? What's that like? When you think about it, there's less work available in country towns because there's smaller population, therefore less opportunities. However, there's a lot less people to do the work, So you still got to have your nurses and your school teachers and your librarian and, somebody's got to work in the shops and the post office and somebody's got to be in the council and operate the grader and the earth mover or the truck driver. You've got to have all those people in the country, just less of them, but you've got a smaller labour pool to draw from. So really, finding a work in a country town is about the same. Probably the big difference is if you want to start a business. You're a bit restricted with businesses. Say you wanted to open a hamburger shop. Well, the amount of clients you're going to have is less than if you're in a densely populated city area. You've got to realise that. Like retail opportunities, if you were buying an existing business, retail business, that'd be probably successful. You look at their books and so on, you'd be right. But if you're starting a new business, you'd want to be very careful. But what I find, like in this country area, is that people are very conservative and careful with their money because they come from a farming background generally. I can see that there's a huge potential here for income from tourists, which isn't really being used, And the government will provide you with grants and assistance in that if you want to, so that's something you could look into. But generally speaking, work is not particularly a problem in a country area. In fact, in this area, we have an 0.5% unemployment rate. Nearly everybody's employed in this town. Everybody here, if they got nothing to do, somebody will want to give them something to do. Okay, so work in the country, not really a big problem. So yeah.